Okay, and we're off. Good morning. This is what we're going to be working on today. This video, you'll be pausing as you go through it. Please do so when I ask you to, and then we'll move on. We'll be able to get through the custom block activity. Those of you that still need to work on it will have some time, but we need to move on to the Charmed I'm Sure activity that we were going to start last class. So I'll get to both of those today. If you did finish the custom CAD block assignment, this one, I would like you to go back and unsubmit it because there's a section towards the end of my talking here on the custom block that you need to make sure to edit and then put a new screenshot in. So you should by now have a custom CAD block. You should by now have a custom CAD block isometric on paper like this. Should be in your notebook at this point, and you should have a screenshot turned in or submitted for this first part of your activity here. If not, pause video, get that done now. Spend only about 2 or 3 minutes getting this in here for step 1. Step 2, Fusion. Go into Fusion, create your custom CAD block model like you see here, the one that's on the right side. Save it into your custom CAD block folder in Fusion. Take a screenshot, just like you see here, paste it in for number 2. Number 3, I'm going to go through again. I want to add dimensionings because we did not do that. This is for everybody, even those of you who submitted this. So we're going to bounce back, put some simple dimensions in, and get this new screenshot added here today. So I'll go bounce into Fusion. I have my custom CAD block. Here is how you create this drawing in case you forgot or in case you didn't do it yet. Go to Design. Well, I have this saved first. Go to Design, go to Drawing, from Design. On the right side where it says template, yours might say from scratch. Even though mine says title block, I'm going to click on it and go to browse. I want to make sure I'm getting the title block out of my CAD block folder. If you do not have this folder on your screen right now, and it might say practice blocks, go back to your folder, double click on custom CAD block. You should have the title block, click on it and hit select. Right now I can hit OK. It brings up my base view, which is my front view. I'm going to position this in the lower left, click once, hit OK. I'm going to go up top to the upper left, click on projected view, click once, go down to the object, click, move my mouse straight up from the front view, keep some space between the front and the top, and click. That places your top view. Go back to your front and go to the right, keep about the same amount of space from the front as the top view is, click once, move up to the top right, click to place your isometric view, and then hit the check. Okay, so most of you have that done. Some of you have not shaded this object, so if not, like mine isn't, double click. We're going to go to Style. Fourth button across is Shaded. Click it once. Hit Close, and now you have a shaded isometric. Okay, the last thing to do on this is the dimensioning. I want to keep the dimensions simple. I want overall, if you have any curves, which you should, put in a radius or diameter and be done with it. We're going to choose this dimension tool. I'll show you a few steps on what you can do, and then you'll be on your own to finish up, and you can pause this video before you move on. Basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to click on the dimension tool. I want to show an overall height, so I click in the top left corner of my right side view. Yours might vary. You can choose whatever view you want. I'm going to click in the lower left corner. I'm going to place my 2.75 dimension out away from the object, not too far. I want to show this angle, so I'm going to click on the top of the angle here, click on the bottom here, and I want to put this dimension inside of the existing. So this is a little too far away. I'll drag it, if I can, just a little closer. Okay, dimension tool. I need a width, so I'm going to do a width of this entire object, bring it down. By the way, I forgot to do a depth on the right side. I'll throw one of those in too. I'm keeping this the same distance away from the object. I want to know this angle, but I really want to know that from here horizontally to there. So I need to go to dimension. I'm going to choose a linear dimension. I'm going to click on that top corner. I'm going to click on the bottom right corner and then throw in a line dimension. Shorter dimensions always go inside of the wider. Maybe I want to show an overall height here. I already have one, so actually I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw in a height right there. bottom to there, and then I might throw in one here. I don't necessarily need another dimension there. What I do need is the curve. But in this case, for my radius, you don't want to put it in cross your dimension lines. You shouldn't have it way out here. So you can see how that's crossing my 1. I'll fix that later. I'm going to put it in for now. I'm going to throw this one in for now. And now I'm going to hit escape twice. And this is very busy. So if I can't click and move this, I can. There we go. I want to just get it inside the other dimension like so. So that's all set. That's all you need. Do a save. Take a screenshot. Put that into your worksheet on number 3 here and turn this in. Pause the video if you need more time to do that. Obviously you probably do. Get that done, wrap it up, and then move on, continue the video to the charmed activity. Okay, charmed activity, here we go. I need you to set your notebook up first. So you're going to need a notebook. You're going to need eventually your Chromebook, but not right now. Well, although you need it for the video, I'm sure. And you also need a pen and pencil. So what we're going to do here, I have on my screen now, I have a few things listed. You should have Charmed, I'm Sure. That's my chicken scratch. It says Charmed, I'm Sure. That's the title. I have the date, 11/12, and my page number. I don't know what page you're on. It could be 27, it could be 85, I don't know. You're going to write down client. The client is Freeman Fabrications. I'll get to that in a second too if you just write client. You're going to have a target customer. That's your general public. We'll get into that a little later. And then the designer is you. You're going to come up with your own design statement that we'll do in just a second. We'll start it together. You have to finish it. And then you're going to list criteria and constraints. So if you want to pause the video, go ahead and write that stuff down so it's on this page in your notebook. Do so, and then we'll continue. Okay, let's go back to the slideshow. Let's see what we got. Freeman Fabrication, that's me. I've hired you to actually help create a new luggage tag line. So what we're going to do here is you are actually going to design a luggage tag around your interests for our luggage. Here's how it works. You're going to be using a 3D printer to print when you do that. So in order to understand what 3D printer is, you're going to pause this video. You're going to go to Google Classroom, and this link that you see on my screen here is actually attached to the Google Classroom activity. So if you would please pause the video, go and do that now. Watch the video. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video. Next step, we'll move on. Here is what I was talking about before. In your notebook, you should have client, Freeman Fabrications, the general public who buys my luggage bags, people that might be interested in luggage or backpack charms. You could list that as a target customer as well. And of course, the designer is you. In my notebook, I wrote down Joe. But actually, this will be me. Okay, so go ahead and make sure that's done, then we'll move on. Please read over the opportunity statement that's here. You can pause the video to do so, but basically it's just telling you what the project is all about, what the problem is, and what you are going to do. So we have a description of who is going to actually buy the charm, or what characteristics are going to be reflected in the charm design, and that's actually you. You're going to be designing the charm under your own, for your own interests. You're going to come up with, you are the designer, you're the company designer, this is number 2, are going to come up with 3 different charm designs. You're going to sketch those in your notebook, hopefully today. You're going to review those, provide me with those designs. I'll offer a little feedback if you wish, and then we'll move on, and you're going to choose a final design with more detail where you're going to show me and say, okay, I can go on and now, if you approve, and design this in Fusion. You are going to design one of the 3 of your choice in Fusion, and then you're going to 3D print it and use it. So, you just saw the opportunity statement there. You are now going to include a design statement in your notebook. As far as the design statement goes, as I said, You'll have 3 different sketches. You're restating what exactly you're going to be doing for this. You're not designing a train charm if you like trains. You're not designing a bumblebee charm if you like bumblebees. You are coming up with 3 different charm designs for your client. You're then going to design one file design in Fusion. You'll be then printing that file design. So pause the video, come up with your own statement. At this time, don't spend any more than 5 minutes on it using the criteria I just talked about. You can go back to this slide and pause the video right now if you want before you move on. Okay, you should have a design statement done. That design statement's in your notebook. Let's go through and look at the criteria. There are 5 different items for criteria here. You can see that you have to have an 1/8 inch hole, 0.125, to have a steel cable actually go through. This is something that needs to easily be attached to a backpack or luggage. The distance between the edge of the plastic that you're going to actually print and the hole has to be an 1/8 inch. You can't have it too thin, otherwise it'll break. If you have a hole in an object, think of a piece of paper in a 3-ring binder. The paper can tear out easily. If the hole is further away from that paper, or from the edge, it's more difficult to tear. So you need to have that hole at least an 1/8 inch from the edge. And then obviously in this case, I would prefer a stationary object, not a movable object. So one part. Keep it simple. Make it easy. Okay, so come up with 3 of the what you think are the most important criteria and write those 3 in your notebook now. Pause the video and do so. Okay, here's constraints. Next step, take a look at the constraints. You're going to use additive manufacturing, 3D printing that we talked about. The charm will be manufactured from PLA, and then it gives you a maximum volume. So you're going to have to calculate the volume for this object for your charm when you print it. And this gives you 2 basic ideas or 2 basic dimensions for your charm size. I'm going to show you a few more constraints. We have to factor in the time. You have to keep track of how many hours you spend on this, how many days it takes you to complete, and you're going to be writing that information down, so it's good to keep track of it maybe in your notebook. You can see your final design, your final charm design must be submitted in your notebook within 2 block periods, so this will pretty much be the end of class on Thursday. Your CAD design in Fusion, from that one design, you'll have 2 additional days to finish that up, a total of 4 blocks. You'll have a final orthographic drawing, just like you finished for the custom CAD block, and an STL file. We'll talk about that later, but that's how your 3D printer can actually understand the Fusion file in block number 5. So 5 total blocks. This pretty much will be done before Thanksgiving to get your 3D printed model complete. Take the time now, look over the constraints. Constraints 1, 2, and 3. Constraints 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can go back and forth, pause the video, and write down 3 of your top priority constraints you feel are necessary for this project. Go. Okay, next step. Deliverables. I'm going to show you this. This is on the screen for you to take a look at, starting with the design brief that you're going to complete in just a second before we move on to a mind map and concept sketches. But you can see the order. You can go back to this anytime. It's on the design brief too. So at this point, I'm going to switch over to the design brief. You have Google Classroom. In the Google Classroom, you will see your Charmed, I'm Sure design brief. It looks like this. What you're going to do is you're going to go through, you're going to fill out the client, Freeman Fabrication. You're going to fill out the target consumer. We already talked about that. It should be right in your notebook. And the designer, which is your name. You're going to scroll down. There's your opportunity statement we just talked about. Here's your design statement you came up with on your own. So from your notebook, type in your design statement here, 2 to 3 sentences. Last 2 steps, criteria and constraints on the design brief. Anywhere you see a highlighted area, these little boxes, you need to go back into the slideshow. That's this one. you need to go to criteria or constraints, take the information from there, and put them into these boxes. So pause the video, get that done now. Okay, let's do our final two steps here. We're going to move on to your mind map. What your mind map involves is basically you brainstorming exactly what you want your charm to be, or at least to just get ideas going. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a bad idea. So I'm going to get you started with one mind map. I'm going to turn the page. I'm going to label this Charmed I'm Sure. I'll bounce in here so you can see it. Today is still the 12th. I'm on page 63. So there's Charmed I'm Sure. These are my mind maps. You might have 2 or 3. I don't know. I'll do one just to get you started. And then you'll be on your own to get this done. Your mind map. I'm going to start with something that I like. I think you know I like it. Skiing. I'm going to put that in the center of my universe because that's where it belongs. Okay, now I start generating things, objects, ideas that relate to skiing. I might have things like lifts, ski lifts, like a quad, or a gondola, or I'll call this a T-bar. Okay, those are ideas. Another one, I might put equipment. I might have things like skis. They might be important. Poles, goggles. Let's see, boots. Okay, I might go on to other areas of skiing like snowflake. Or I might do mountains. Might do snowy mountains. I might do ski areas like Gore or Maple Ridge or Killington. What's the purpose in this? Well, I now have generated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different items for a mind map. Now, if I bounce into my rubric here, I can come down through and see what I'm graded on. And right here it says brainstorming. You didn't do a mind map. That would be worth 0. Actually, it says 1, but it's technically 0. You didn't do a thing. You don't get credit. Or you can say over 26 words gives you a full credit, 8 out of 8. Maybe since I had, I don't know what I had, 13, if I stopped there, I would get less than that. I would get 3 points. You get the idea how that works. Do a mind map or 2, or even 3, come up with at least 26. You can pause the video and go. Okay, from your mind map, you're going to now generate 3 concept sketches. You're going to turn the page. You're going to have 2 concept sketches, or even just 1 concept sketch on each page. So you might have Charm Concept Sketch 1, Charm Concept Sketch 2, and Charm Concept Sketch 3. No, this doesn't all have to be done today. Obviously, if you're running out of time, you might only start 1 sketch. That's perfectly fine. Let me show you some examples quick. One year I did a mind map on beekeeping. There's my mind map for beekeeping right there. I had a bunch. And I narrowed it down to 3 options. So I wrote the 3 options from this mind map here. You can do that on your mind map before you move on. Here are 2 different designs, a bear and a honey dipper. Okay, raised lettering. I put all sorts of annotations on here. One thing I missed, the size of these objects. Okay, but you can understand kind of what this is all about. Eyes and nose are raised, recessed freckles and whiskers and mouth. So they go, the recess is embossed in, the eyes and nose, they pop out. There is a hole location to hang the luggage tag from. Let's take a look at another example real quick. This here is, there's 3 different mind maps. Music mind map, beach mind map, garden. She narrowed it down to bow, cello, and butterfly. Let's see what, and she wrote it right on the mind map page. Let's turn the page and go on. Here's sketch 1 for a bow. You can see that she did a bow for a violin. She has a hole in the bottom, hole in the top, and one of those holes has to be the correct size. Talks about the thickness of this object, rounded or fillet. A name goes on the side underneath, and then she actually did use real bow hair for this particular bow. It was a chore, but it worked. It was very difficult. She has great annotations. One thing she's missing overall is the size, but you get the idea. Let's go on to sketch 2. Here's a butterfly. Hole location, it's a little small to see, but it is there. Total thickness, 0.5. That's a ½ inch. That's very thick. I would stick to a quarter. That would be perfect, or 3/16 even. Talked about the wings. Let's go on to the next one. Here is a flower. Petal, or the middle is raised, has the hole right here for the charm to hang, so on and so forth. Let's go on to one more real quick, and then you'll be on your own for the rest of class. Charm ideas. There's two. She has two different mind maps. She's highlighted the 4 ideas that she likes: puzzle, paintbrush palette, and piano. Let's turn the page. Paintbrush, paint palette. Tells size, where the hole is, hole in the paint palette, her name, raised paint splatches. Here's the overall size, and it's customizable. She talks about how this is customizable, and you should too, because, you know, her name might be Olivia. Is yours? Maybe you want to make this customizable for different people. That's how you do it. Let's turn the page. Let's take a look. This is very difficult. So instead of making this sliding, maybe make it permanent, but show with embossing where these seams are. But this is one of those slider puzzles. Here's a hole with a piece coming out the side. The hole is an 1/8 inch diameter right here, and then the distance from the edge of the hole to the outside is an 1/8 inch for thickness, so that the hole doesn't break. One more. She actually didn't come up with a piano here. It looks more like a notebook or a journal of some sort. And you can see that she's got the hole in the bottom, the same thing. This is a much better view of the hole, 1/8 inch, along with the 1/8 inch thick side, so they don't break. 2 different pieces, holes in each with the rings to hold them together. That's kind of neat, and something to help keep it closed. So you get the idea how this works. Oh yes, the size. Basically what you need is you need to come up with your mind map first, identify the top 3 choices that you think would be really neat luggage tag or charm design, something for your backpack, and then come up with 3 sketches, put 1 on each page. Have a great time.